are officially on WrestleMania weekend. It's Thursday, but you know what? It's the weekend. It's a long weekend. Let's call it WrestleMania weekend. And WrestleMania, 2 days away, this Saturday and Sunday at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, the Horn, your home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys when they get kicked off in September. But for now, we're going to talk WrestleMania. We're going to talk all things wrestling and maybe some other stuff with the man joining me on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. He is a former NXT North American champion, former WWE United States champion, and one of the rockinest dudes I know. I've known him for a while, but it's good to see him again. Damian Priest, follow him on Twitter at Archer of Infamy. Damian, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. And WrestleMania weekend started on Monday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for you guys, yeah, it's the whole week. It's WrestleMania week. I get it.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, I want to ask you, because you're a big music file, you know, that's the big thing. And from what I can gather, big into kind of hard rock, metal, and that type of thing. Give me an idea of like what's in your earbuds when you're, just kind of going around town or whatever.
Some Metallica, some Motley Crue, Priest, not me, Judas
Right.
Priest.
Judas, right.
Kill Switch Engage. There's
Nice.
a plethora of bands, but from different generations. And it also depends what mood I'm in and where I'm going and what I'm doing. But those are usually my go-tos.
I can understand that. I got lucky enough to see Metallica several years ago when X Games was here in Austin, and just a hell of a show. I mean, my God. It was so good when they did one and they had the lasers and the sound effects and everything, and just so good. And of course, Enter Sandman. I mean, who can't get going when you hear Enter the Sandman? So I get you. I was doing some research, and I saw that. Do you collect hand-to-hand combat weapons?
Yeah, I have a nice little collection of them. I've just been a fan since I can remember. I just love the idea of just that combat, whether it came from my martial arts background or just seeing it in movies, or I don't know, and then learning to use them. I just always been a fan, and then if I see something that I think is cool looking and whatever, and especially if it has a story, I'm getting it.
Okay. What's the most unique item you have in your collection?
I have a few daggers that are just funky and weird, just the way they're shaped. And it's just like, there's no reason for you to make something so dangerous, so those are my favorite ones that it's hard to even pick up because you're afraid to cut yourself, getting a grip on it.
Right.
I guess I would say I have a couple daggers that are my favorite pieces.
Okay. All right. I of course, you mentioned daggers. And of course, I love Star Wars. So the episode 9, they have the dagger that has the inscription. You don't by chance have one of those, do you? Or at least a replica?
I don't have that one, but I do have some daggers with inscriptions.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. I like that. Let's go back to last year, WrestleMania in Tampa. You and Bad Bunny in the tag team match. And, you guys were praised roundly for the effort and everything. I mean, you've been doing this a while, so you know what you're doing. But talk for a second about how fun it was to work with Bad Bunny in the weeks leading up to that, and then of course that night in Tampa at WrestleMania in the tag match.
WrestleMania was my first WrestleMania. Bad Bunny's first match and it's WrestleMania. So we were extremely nervous, but leading up to it, having him be my partner, it actually made it a little easier because we became friends through the process and would always be laughing and joking around. So it kind of eased the pressure, it was still there the day of, don't get me wrong, but at least leading into it, we weren't so much thinking about just that one day and nervous all the time, which I guarantee I would have been. We were kind of having fun with the process and enjoying every bit of it. We were putting in a lot of hard work, but we were enjoying it. So, and I think that's why he was able to deliver the performance that he did, is because I feel like he absorbed things better because he was having fun instead of just having nerves and trying to be a perfectionist on little things that he would have tried too hard and probably would have backfired on him. And instead, he was more relaxed and through the learning process. And I think he was better he was better at it because of it. So yeah, I enjoyed my time leading into WrestleMania last year. Like I said, we had fun, and you know what's coming, and it's my first, and it was just the whole process was extremely cool, and something I'll always have with me, like the stuff that fans don't see, and then
Right.
obviously the night of is one of the best nights or the best night of my career. It's WrestleMania, my first one. I'm in a high profile match, and then we go out there and shock everybody, to not surprise to us, because we knew we worked hard, so we knew I knew what Bad Bunny was capable of, because I was
Right.
with him. I helped train him, and I already knew, but the world didn't. So I was excited to see everybody surprised, but was still nervous, but I knew. And then yeah, everything was just awesome. I just, that whole process, including the night. Um, what a wild, I mean, it feels like a blur now, especially when the day of, when it was over. As soon as
Right.
the 1, 2, 3 and the match is over, I was like, what just happened?
Well,
But it was cool.
and that's the thing, because you get these celebrity appearances at WrestleMania or wrestling events, and it's they're varying degrees, but we had heard leading up to that, how serious Bad Bunny was taking the training, and how much he was diving into the training. So, and it showed in the match, because you guys just knocked it out of the park. It was one of the really good matches there on WrestleMania. So I commend you and Bad Bunny on that. I want to talk to you a second about Undertaker going into the WWE Hall of Fame. I just got to visit with him on Sunday when he was here in Austin for the NASCAR race. I know early in your career, especially back in your ROH days as Punishment Martinez, a lot of people compared you to Undertaker. I mean, and favorably. And I'll be honest, I saw it a little bit. Talk for a second about Undertaker going to the Hall of Fame, and what influence he's had on your career.
Well, first, if that's what you saw a little bit, then mission accomplished, because that's exactly what I was doing. I was giving everybody that side of me that was always in love with the character, and I wanted to be, put it this way, growing up, when I fell in love with wrestling, you could want to be like people, but I legit wanted to be the Undertaker in wrestling. As a kid, it was like, if I was ever a superstar, I want to be the Undertaker,
Yeah.
And then as you grow up, it becomes more, you're a fan of the Undertaker, and you'd love to have aspects of him, but not be him. And that's basically, how that character that I used to do where he was basically a form of expression of, like, me expressing what I love about the Undertaker, and literally I would not be here sitting talking to you if it wasn't for him, because he was the first one that made me feel some heavy emotions and get invested into what I was watching. And and basically that is what made me want to do this, because I wanted people to feel emotion because of me, just the way he made me feel. So that's how that started. Was literally, I fell in love with the business because of him, seeing him and his character, and then fell in love with the idea of becoming a superstar because of the emotional part. And then through the years, obviously, with all his accomplishments and everything, my fandom kept on growing. And then I got into the business, and I still studied him and watched him, and was still a fan. And now, crazy that I get to talk to him, and he gives me advice. And again, I don't even know how I got here, but I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I have people like Undertaker that, for whatever reason, want to help me.
Well, like I said, I've followed you for quite some time, and gotten to know you over the last several years, and I can see how you got here. You and like I said, it was,
Thank you.
you could see it, and I saw it, and I was thinking, yeah, that could be like an Undertaker character. That could be, he's that good. So, let's talk about this year's WrestleMania. 2 nights. It's gonna be, it's at Jerry World, and it's one of these things. It feels like, and I've talked to other superstars about this. So 2020, it was in the Performance Center because of COVID. It was, the beginning of the pandemic and everything. Last year, you had kind of, I'll call it a soft opening. You were in Raymond James Stadium. It was still a limited crowd and everything, and there were still restrictions. So this year, it feels like a coming out party. It's full on, full blast. Let's bring the crowds. Let's fill up AT&T Stadium. just talk for a moment about the vibe going into this year's WrestleMania, because as I said, it just feels like a coming out party. It's like, okay, here we go.
Oh yeah. So as great as last year was, I feel like this is also my first WrestleMania, because now we're talking about a fully stacked stadium, no restrictions, and fans, like, we welcome them back last year, but now it's like we welcome you back to normal, with, like, when it comes to WrestleMania vibe. So we're here. We're like, trust me, we all know that what's happening. We're very conscious of the difference, and for some of us, our first or whether second, but first one with full crowd. For others, it's been a minute. So everybody's pretty excited when you got, like, legends like Edge and Randy Orton, and you see them getting kind of giddy and like excited, and you see, like, how their work it just gets more intensified right leading in. And you can see it in their eyes. Like, I watch them and I'm like, man, it's Mania season, because I can see that, almost like that killer instinct in their eyes. Like, they're just on that just best of the best mode right now. So it's cool. So it's going around the locker room, it's going around the arenas, it's going around everywhere. It's contagious, like it's Mania, and we're back full force, and here in beautiful Dallas. And man, that stadium is wild. Like, I'm from New York, but that stadium is so awesome. So I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, believe me, I've been to that stadium hundreds of times, covering the Dallas Cowboys and doing state high school football championships. Been to the Final Four. I was at the last WrestleMania in 2016 there. I know full on how wonderful that stadium and how beautiful that stadium can be when all dressed out and everything. So it's gonna be a great 2 days. It's gonna be a great weekend. WrestleMania 38 this Saturday and Sunday at AT&T Stadium. Tickets are still available. Go to SeatGeek.com or SeatGeek on your mobile phone. If you can't make it there, watch it on Peacock, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central each night. And he is Damian Priest. Follow him on Twitter at Archer of Infamy. Damian, man, it's great to connect with you again. Like I said, we've known each other for quite a while. I've been following you all this time. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for your success. Man, thanks for the time. All the best to you. I'll see you up in Dallas this weekend.
Appreciate it. I'll see you there, man. Thanks.